Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. My name is Tori. This is Holy City Mystic. Thank you so much for being here. So, today I'm going to talk about a little technique about using your birth month as a guide to the season that works best for you. So, none of this was my idea. It came from the book Cosmic Calendar by Christopher Renstrum. I highly recommend any of his stuff. He also wrote a book a few years ago called Rise and Shine that is very good. It has to do with your ascendant and just kind of what that means for your life. He is absolutely amazing at taking things, somewhat difficult concepts, and breaking them down into bite-sized chunks that are just so amazing and easy to understand. So highly recommend any of his stuff. This is a technique that I actually use all the time, and it really actually helped me a lot when it came to understanding just more about why certain seasons work best for me and which ones don't. So he first starts out the book by talking about how sometimes you need a calendar and sometimes you need a watch. So talking about the ascendant as more of the watch situation, because sometimes you have to have a specific time with something, and then other times the date is going to be more important. And then having your sun sign as actually being more in line with the calendar portion. So ever since I was very, very young, I have hated summer. I don't know why. I just hate it. I hate the heat. I feel so unmotivated. I go through kind of this seasonal depression every single summer. Somebody commented recently and they were just like, hey, you still alive? And it's true. Every single summer I have a dip in performance. I don't do as many videos. My creativity doesn't go so well. And that's how it's always been. And before reading this book, I couldn't figure it out. I was like, why am I not in line with the seasons? Like summer is, playtime. Summer is when you're supposed to like come out and do all this stuff, but that's not the case for me. So actually using this technique, I found out that the months between Taurus season and Leo season, which is pretty much the height of the summer, that's my out of season time. And it's a time when I have the least amount of energy, the least amount of motivation. I really want to like hibernate and reflect. Like I don't want anybody to see me during this time. I don't want to do anything during this time. Being productive is like the last thing I ever want to do. So I thought it would be helpful to you guys to share this technique with you so that you can actually figure out why a season that everybody else seems to love is actually a season that just doesn't work well with you. First of all, you're going to take the month that you were born. I don't mean January, February, March. I mean Taurus or Gemini or Virgo or whatever it is. And you're going to figure out what the mode is. So either fixed, mutable, or cardinal. Then you're going to draw a cross. So if you were born in the sign of Aries, it's going to be a cardinal cross that you're going to draw, going to each one of the cardinal signs. Now, starting with your birthday month, so we're just going to keep going with Aries. Aries, Taurus, and Gemini are going to be your first quadrant, and that is going to be your in-season time. The following quadrant, so the next cardinal sign, and then the two signs after, are going to be your second quadrant, and that is going to be your departing time, or the time when things are slowing down a little bit. The quadrant that is opposite from you, so your opposing sign and then the two signs after that, that is going to be your out of season time. And then the last quadrant, the quadrant right before it gets to your quadrant that starts with your birthday month, that's going to be your approaching season. So I started with cardinal. My personal one is fixed since I'm a Scorpio sun. And so from Scorpio to Aquarius, that is my in-season time. From Aquarius to Taurus, that's my departing season time. From Taurus to Leo, that is my out-of-season time, the time when things are not going well for me. And then Leo to Scorpio, that's my approaching time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about each one. Also, get the book. It's very good. And he reads it himself on Audible, so if you're more of an audiobook person like I am, it's really enjoyable to listen to. I'll put the link for both the Audible and the Amazon. Highly recommend. So when you are in season, when it is your sign and then the 2 signs after your sign, that's when you have the most energy. It's when you have the most motivation, the highest level of follow through. It's kind of like when you feel up front and center, you feel bright and shiny, like everything is going your way, everything is good. The next is the departing time. This is when things are wrapping up. Things are starting to slow down. You're starting to reflect on everything that you have and kind of get in that space of, okay, what do I want to keep going? What am I ready to kind of let go of? This is also a really great time to get clarity on ending things. So if there's been a project that you've been working on or something that you've had in the back of your mind as something that you want to do and you've put a lot of pressure on yourself but you haven't even started it, this is a good time to be like, you know what, I'm going to save that for next year. This is not the right time for me to start that. You're out of season time. So the sign across from yours, directly in opposition to your sign, and then the 2 signs after that, that is your out of season time. And that is when you have the least amount of energy. This really is like a time of hibernation, a time where you shouldn't put that much pressure on yourself. It's a time to go slow. It's a time to reflect and rest. It's a time to really take stock of everything that you've built and just kind of ride the wave. Just kind of be like, okay, well, this is where I am so far, and I'm happy with that, and I'm not going to start anything new. I'm just going to relax during this time. And I will tell you, even if you try to do things during this out of season time, it will feel like you're running in water, or it's like that dream where you're trying to run away from something but you have really heavy boots. The energy is not going to be very much behind you, and so you can try to start things, but if you save them a couple months until you're approaching time, it might work better for you energetically. So the last quadrant is going to be your approaching time, and this is the time where you kind of start waking up. You kind of have been in this state of hibernation and slowness, and you start to get ideas again. You start to get inspiration that's coming in. Your energy starts increasing again, and you start to really feel like you're waking up. And I know personally for me, as soon as we hit Leo season, it literally feels like I start waking up. Like it feels like I am finally coming back into myself and I'm able to really be me and get excited about the things that I've been excited about before. And then you hit your birthday month and the whole cycle starts all over again. So if this is something that you have used before or you've read this book and you found some success with, I would love to hear stories. If you've never heard of this before and you have any questions, because I did a terrible job at explaining it, or you just have like an anecdotal story, I would love to hear about it in the comments. I find these so fascinating. I hope all this makes sense. Go buy Christopher Renstrum's book. And also, if you ever have the opportunity to take a class from him, I would highly recommend it. I've taken a couple from him and he is absolutely amazing. So I hope you guys are doing well and take care.